Yo, 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 what's going on, guys? And welcome to another CoDcast. Number 3, okay? What are we doing on this CoDcast? I'm not sure. But we've got a legend joining us today. COD legend Joseph "Nabore" Amorosa. I call him the godfather of COD. Now, why do I call him the godfather of COD? Well, I'll tell you why. This guy was an all-around great player. He had the game sense. He had the aim. He had a hell of a bolt, a hell of a rifle, and he was one of the best leaders in all of COD. If you played COD, you know this guy. If you didn't, I'm trying to paint a picture. This guy was an all-around great player and one hell of a damn leader. I love playing with this guy. I consider him a friend, though we haven't talked in like 10 years. It's been like 10 years, so I'm looking forward to catching up with him. Talking COD, talking eSports. I want to get his thoughts on what he thinks about eSports today and where it's all gone, and see what he's up to. See if he's gaming at all, or just doing the family stuff. I know he's got a family now. So, listen, guys, thanks for joining me today on this CoDcast. I will say it again. Not going to be interacting with the chat too much. If it's pertinent to the convo, then I'll maybe grab it, but it's not going to be a back and forth out of respect to the guest. He's taking his time out of his weekend. He's a busy guy, taking his time out to join me, so that's how it is. And if you're watching on YouTube, I'm only saying this because I'm streaming on Twitch. Okay, he's a great man. He's the best leader I ever played COD with. Gotta say, this guy's dedication to the game, it's just a shame. It's a damn shame, and this will be a theme throughout every CoDcast. It's a damn shame that it's the pre-twich era, because this guy, you better believe, would have been getting his riches a la Twitch. But such is life. Oh, having trouble closing this door. One sec. We did it. That's life. You're not always going to get the riches when you deserve them. But c'est la vie. Am I right? Okay. So without further ado, I'm going to get him on, and we're going to start talking about stuff, and I'm going to play some videos in the background. It's a work in progress with this CoDcast. First of all, I'm not sure what the format is, and then visually, we got to step up. I put text. I put his name up top with a picture. If you guys aren't aware, Joe is the guy to my left in the picture, getting all hyped there. So that's him. And in the screen left frame, you can see guest of the CoDcast, CoDcast alumni. He did the first episode with me. That's Justin Prank Demera on the left. I just found this. I looked like for 10 minutes for a picture of me and Joe. I could not find one. And I don't know what the keyword I put in was, but then I found this one. This is from WSVG. The biggest event COD 2 had, at least in North America. And so it just so happens that my first guest is to my right, and now our current and second guest is to my left in that picture. You gotta love them. And you see the birthday hats in the screen right there. It's because it was my birthday. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So, let's talk to him again. I don't know what the format is, but hey, we got his name up. We got a picture. Oh, but yeah, I will be playing videos. I'm just going to play some COD videos in the background while we talk. I figure, just to get a bit of a visual element. Yeah, without further ado, let's get it. Let's get it. Let me just shuffle these videos real quick. How do you shuffle? Oh, there we go. Oh, shit. Okay. High production value here on the Streamerini. Joe.
Robbie.
Welcome to the CoDcast, man. Episode 2.
Well, some people may know you as Red Light Robbie.
What's that, man? We don't. What's that? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Why would they
What
call me that?
happens in Amsterdam stays in Amsterdam. Never mind.
What's that, man? Yeah, but when you bring it up like that, it's not really. I think people can put two and two together. I don't. It's kind of a low blow. Let's reset this.
No.
No. I'm gonna reset. I'll be back in 15. Nah, just joking. Obviously, just joking. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm all right. I had Justin on last week, as you know, and I figured why not have the best overall player and leader on for my next CoDcast, just to shoot the shit and see what's up.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, this will be fun. It's been a while since we spoke.
Like
well,
10
we've talked,
years.
but not. I know, man.
I know.
Well, I've been out of it, really. But I want to get back in it.
Like I was talking to Justin about that. You always have the itch. Like you could move on from gaming and like get the job and everything, but to me, I never feel fulfilled completely. Like you have a family and shit, so maybe it's different. But for me, like just working a job every day, going from like doing what we did with COD to working like a full-time job and shit, it's I mean, unless your job is amazing, which mine isn't, I feel unfulfilled. Like I always want to frag. I don't know how you feel about that.
Well, back in the day, I kind of set a philosophy, like a life philosophy, where you could only do like two things good at once. If you tried to introduce like a third thing, everything just kind of fails. So like, and that would mean like job, school, girlfriend, or, whatever the other thing may be, hobby. So, yes, now that there are more than two things going on in my life, it's impossible to introduce a third well.
Wow, I never thought about it that way, but it's so true. When you spread yourself so thin, it's hard to be like good at something, which is why I think like my gaming in like I don't know if you even know, but I played Overwatch professionally last year.
Yeah, you were with Mikey, right?
Yeah, Michael D and Emong and yeah, I think those are the only guys you know. But it's just not the same when you have like all this shit going on in your life. It's like it's not the same as when we used to be able to just like focus on the game and that was all we did, right? It's so different when you have like responsibilities and shit. Like I can't get into it as much, and as a result, I'm not as good.
Well, you knew what it took back then. I mean, you knew it probably took somewhere in the ballpark of 6 to 8 hours a day, at minimum, to be at the top. I mean, it's hard to repeat that kind of, as you get older and you get more responsibilities, it's tough to put that kind of time in.
Yeah, I couldn't even focus. Like we were on a 6 to 8 hour practice schedule for Overwatch, and like it was too much for me. I used to be able to do that like no problem at all, but like now, especially like I think a different factor, like maybe it's a completely different factor, but with Overwatch I didn't like quite enjoy the game as much as I did with like Call of Duty, where it was like pure enjoyment, whereas Overwatch it was like kind of forced and I was playing just to get paid. But like Call of Duty 1, I fell in love with that game instantly, and it was never forced. Like getting on for practice was never forced, whereas Overwatch it was, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, you gotta love what you're doing.
I know.
It's always at the top. Even if you took the money out of the Call of Duty we were doing back then, let's just say like you would have been sent to Europe to play, even if there was no purse. You probably would have done it just as passionately, maybe.
100%. Like COD was never about the money for me, and I'm sure it's the same as you. You're playing for the love of the game, pure passion.
I mean, we went to PA for a few times. For what? Pennies? I mean,
yeah, it was a shitty LAN in like a strip mall. It was like I paid my own way to these. Like it was like the only COD LAN in North America that I knew of, and I paid my own way. Get picked up. It's like a long ass trip just to play like a LAN in this like rundown strip mall in PA. But I didn't care.
The worst pizza ever.
You're talking about the COD 4? Because like every COD had a strip mall LAN, so you'll have to be more specific. I know the COD 4, the Nerve LAN, had a pizza place in it. I forget what it was called.
Maybe it was that one. Yeah.
It was greasy as shit, and we ordered from it twice, and it was not good.
But you came from Toronto, so that must have been even harder.
Yeah, and I would drive to Buffalo, then fly out from there just for the cheaper flight because it was like way cheaper, like half. But I didn't care. It was the love of the game. It's all I was doing. I talked about it a lot in my last 2 casts. It's like, I don't give a shit. It was all I did in high school. Like, COD was my life. Like, it's all I ever wanted to do. And while we're on the subject, and I talked to Justin about this, how do you feel about it just being stripped away from you? Like, the whole build-up with COD 4, and like, we were on top of our game. And then to just have it end because the next game in the series is trash? It sucks, man.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of takes me back to that, was it the fall of '08? I was making life decisions at the time, and then the new game was coming out. We actually we kind of abandoned Call of Duty altogether, and we kind of went all in on that AVA game, if I remember right. It was like '09, may have been '09.
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
That game was pretty cool. And then, so we were, and I know Mikey kind of made something out of it eventually.
All those guys did, I think. They were playing with Skadoodle.
Oh yeah, he eventually went on to do good things.
Yeah. I remember scrimming that team as the doctors, and we thought Skadoodle cheated. I guess maybe he did, but I don't know.
Probably not, right?
Yeah, I would say now probably not, but there are players who cheat and then get known and then stop cheating, right? Like, didn't AZK cheat in COD 2, or?
Well, I wonder, because I see him play with McCree on some team, and he could fire. I mean, maybe you're right. Maybe he was cheating. Maybe I always wonder about that, because like these guys have talent. I don't know. Like, does it just appear? Maybe it does.
I always gave AZK the benefit of the doubt because it was a ban by demo review, and people gave me shit last stream for saying that, but like, look at what he's done since then. Like, there were people who were certain that I was cheating in COD 1 and 2.
I was going to say, if you brought some of your demos up, Rob, I mean,
I know, but like,
come on, how many people would ban a few of us on demo review, without reputation?
Yeah, for sure. Like those end effect guys, the Minutemen dudes, like they all were so certain I was cheating. So I always give people the benefit of the doubt. Like AZK banned by demo review, I don't know. Maybe we'd have to watch it again and see, but we've all done.
I think if he did more in the he didn't. They didn't really like take down championships either, so it was like kind of like, yeah, maybe he's cheating, but nobody gives a fuck,
Yeah. True. So I was saying before we started, I don't know what the format of this CoDcast is, but I'd love to talk a little bit about like your path. I called it the path to glory, which is like, your start, your like when you discovered competitive gaming, and like, how you got to, I mean, I don't know what you consider your pinnacle in COD. I'm not sure if it's COD 4 or anything you did in COD 2, but why don't we start with like your first competitive game? Like what was your first thing?
Well, I have a brother who's 4 years older than me, and he had a lot of, he kind of grew up when gaming got hot on a console. Like, you had your N64s, stuff like that. He had like 6 friends that were really good at N64, and I was young, and I remember we would sit in the living room and like we would play ton of games like Mario Kart, just a bunch of crap. But the big one that I loved was GoldenEye. Like, the game was so sick. And they used to just trash me, Rob. Like, I mean, I used to get the control, and it would be last two give the controller away, kind of thing.
Right.
So I never keep the control, and so I got pissed out. And you know how I am now, knowing me now, like I just can't accept losing to people.
Yeah.
So that kind of started young, being a younger brother, and being in a competitive environment that early, because these guys were pretty good. So then that's kind of, I think, where the work ethic and the idea of just, keep trying until you get better came from. Then high school came around and PC games were hot. And my dad was always good about getting us the best computer. He would always buy computer parts for us. I don't know why. He was at work a lot, but he would always come home with like a new rig or like a new video card. So we had the ability to play these games, and we played on like AOL or Net Zero. Net Zero was the one we played on at the time for 56K. That was the days of like Doom 2, where you can, if you knew what you were doing, you could actually play against other people in Doom 2.
Yeah, I remember setting up a LAN for Doom 2 too. That was sick.
That was sick.
Yeah, it was like the first taste of like multiplayer FPS on PC. I actually forgot that you could even do that.
Near my house, they opened up an internet cafe, and it was like $2 to play for a whole hour, or $5 for 3 hours. So we used to always do the $5 for 3 hours, and we used to go right after school. So the bus would drop us off, and literally the building in front of the bus stop was this LAN center, and the bus would take me to school and whatever. So they had Warcraft 3 2s. They had Warcraft 3, and man, that game got me. I mean, I remember playing that game so much. So my competitive, and that was a 1v1er at the time. So totally not what I was used to for what we did now, or did back in the day. But that game, man, that game took hours, and I will never get those hours back. But it was so great.
I know, everything about it felt so good. I miss, like, I haven't had that feeling. I know exactly what you're talking about with Warcraft 3, and I haven't had that feeling in a game in like since, I don't know, 15 years. And again, I don't know if it's because we're in different situations in life now, or if it's just the games themselves are not as good, but it's just not the same these days.
I think it's the later, but
really,
I think the games are just not good. I mean, there was like a lull period for a lot of development that I think they struggle with looks versus gameplay.
Yeah, it seems like looks is always more important.
Like clutter.
So you went from GoldenEye to Warcraft 3?
I mean, that's a stretch. There's a lot of years in between, but I mean,
like in terms of like your first like competing like in a tournament, what game was it? You didn't play. Was it Medal of Honor that everyone played before COD 1?
No, I didn't play Medal of Honor. What did I do before Warcraft 3?
2s.
CS 1.6. It wasn't 1.6 at the time. I don't think it was. It was Counter-Strike for a while, and then but that was on a pub level, like a real pub level.
Well, everyone's
COD 1. When did COD 1 come out?
2004 or maybe
okay,
late 2003.
No, there's no way. Let me see. I think it was 01. Let me see, because I was a sophomore.
We have similar stories. I also used to frequent the internet cafes, and that's where I learned about CS. That's when I like fell in love with CS and like multiplayer FPS gaming. I didn't know it was like that until like when I went into the internet cafe and it was just full of people in a server. I remember it was on that Assault, just the big warehouse with a bunch of people camping. Yeah. And everyone in the LAN cafe was in that server. I thought it was the coolest thing that I'm killing people that are in the room with me. I can make all these people angry by killing them. I fucking love that shit. That's when I fell in love with that.
Absolutely. With 6 ping, it was ridiculous.
Yeah.
I do remember, though, but right before, you're right, it was October of 03, I would be at the arcade a lot. Before Warcraft 3 came out and internet cafes were a thing, I used to play a lot of fighters.
Oh, that's right. I remember you.
I used to play and I still do actually. It's funny. We'll talk about this later, but I'm big into like Street Fighters and like the old Marvel vs. Capcom series. Nothing from like Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on, I wouldn't even touch it. But like The old stuff. I actually still play on a program called Fightcade. It allows you to like do that stuff multiplayer now. So, I was big into arcading back in the day, and still am.
That's awesome. And like
now they have a thing where it's like barcades, where it's like a bar and an arcade.
Like esports bars, or is that a different thing? I've heard about these esports bars.
Yeah, they're more casual. They kind of like cater to take your like a date night kind of thing. Take a girlfriend out to go like have a drink and then play these old games. But like I go there and I'm just looking for competition. But there is never competition at these things.
Not what you're looking for. So I'm seeing a theme. You just get competitive in like everything that you play. And I remember in every COD, I don't think I played against you in COD 1 because I was still a scrub, but every COD you played, you always took it to a new level with like learning every little thing you could to give yourself an edge. Like that's the kind of competitor that you were. You're kind of the complete opposite of me in that regard. Like we're similar in the way that we're competitive, but for me, I would just want to go out and frag and just hit every headshot I could. And I have ADD or something, like going in an empty server and like going over like and trying to find all these little things. I could never do it. But I remember in COD 2 when I first joined your team, the first thing you did with me was tell me all your trade secrets. And you went into every map with me and showed me every little spot, every little dirty trick that like I had no idea about any of them, and it elevated my game, man.
Well, you know it's funny because I think Justin is in very much the same realm and thread as you with this because I would get laughed at. like some of the stuff that we would come up with or talk about, you know, in prep would be so ridiculous, and a lot of like Jason, like, you know, would just probably be typing to Keith like what the fuck is he talking about or something. But
yeah.
I mean, we used to like, I don't know, like some of the stuff was gimmick, yeah, but like some of it worked, and that when it worked, it was cool, and then they would give the buy-in, you know, like, oh yeah, we'll try that.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff would just get scrapped. But you know, hey,
you weren't scared to try like anything, which I really like. Like that shit's cool. Like the it was kind of gimmicky, but I don't know if you remember. I think it was the second Nerveland in COD 4. You like announced that you had some like secret for strike. Do you remember? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Was it shooting through the window?
No. It was even better. It was the pistol boost on offense. Remember?
Oh yeah.
But I was explaining that, like, I was sniping the cross, and I didn't even like realize that it was faster than normal, and I don't think it did anything for you guys, did it?
Well, it's like what if you shoot somebody in the air with a pistol, they don't stop when they fall, right? Because they took damage.
I think they just go further, right?
Yeah, one of the two, and sometimes that split second you have to hit that crosser. It was you're right. It was like stupid shit like that we would just always try to find like anything about the game.
Yeah, but I love that shit. There was no like I don't think there's any other player who was like going to that length to try to find that new shit. Like everyone was just kind of playing the game. That's the kind of shit I think is cool. I don't know.
I think there's a lot of and I see it a lot actually in CS:GO. Like they're starting to do a lot of cool shit. I think now more than ever, like when I watch these streams, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty different. Like the top teams are doing that kind of weird shit, and you're like, you'll see like a team do something, and they're like, it's quirky, and you don't know why they're doing it, but then all of a sudden you may catch like the small thing that's separating their play from somebody else.
Right. Yeah. Did you see the? It was a few years ago now, but it was the double or the triple boost on overpass.
Yes, I saw that.
Like that shit reminded me of you. When I was watching that, I was like, "This is some nabore shit right here." That shit was insane. I couldn't believe.
Some people see that as a gimmick, but hey, if it scores the frag, you know, whatever, man.
I couldn't believe like that they came back in that match. Like it was an insane boost, but they had to win so many rounds, and they did. They won every single round. That shit is insane. God damn, I'm just watching these COD movies play while we talk, and God, it's just not the same anymore, man.
Oh, look at Matt, man. Matt was a nutty. Oh, that was nutty. He going back at it, man. Matt might have been, in my opinion, top 3 that I ever knew.
That's Encore, right?
No, Matt was Mort.
Oh, Mort.
He went
right.
by a different name back in the day, but he was he had so much potential, but he kind of fucked around a lot. Like, he just didn't take it as seriously, and he was probably one of the better aimers I've ever knew.
Never had the pleasure.
He played under a different alias in COD 2 for a while, and I don't know why he changed his name, but yeah, man, those I had probably before I ran into you, I had like 2 or 3 teams in the early goings of COD 1. Did you played COD 1 for a bit, right?
Yeah, I played it was after CPL, like the last year. I actually played on Pandemic in COD 1.
Oh yeah, that's right. And I don't think you were on them when we played them as body count when it was on like Newville. But yeah, that's right. I do remember. And I kind of did the same thing as you did, like right after CPL and 3D and.
Oh, you didn't play before CPL?
I did, but I didn't go to CPL. I was I was still testing the water out a little bit, and then like right after CPL we started playing hard.
Oh, wow. So I had assumed that you were there like from the beginning. I didn't even know that.
No, I didn't even go. In fact, I met Jason. Well, I didn't say hi to him, but I saw him, and I believe it was Nightfall at my very first event. It was at the Hammerstein Ballroom in New York City, some COD 1 event. I forget the name of it, but
it wasn't Acon 5, was it? That was a CS event, I think. I don't know anything about. Maybe someone in chat knows.
Somebody will know it. But I met them there, and I think Jason made the finals in that. Actually, Jason won it with United 5, and I was on some team called Body Count. It was our tag was 2 less than signs and the lowercase o, so it was just like a dead body.
I think I remember.
And it was just
tag. It
was some high school friends, and then we started replacing some of the weaker links, and it became a decent team that became Shockwave.
Really? Damn, I had no idea. So your first team was with high school friends, and you were Body Count. Your whole team was with high school friends?
It was me, Death Scythe and Ronan. Actually, this is probably. You'll probably see a few of them in this picture, in this clip. Ronan made this video, and then it was, I think, Espionage, and Matt, Mort, as you know, and then a few others. Some guy who barely spoke English. His name was Nick7. It was hilarious.
That's awesome that you get to play with real life people for your first team. I never met anyone that even played COD in high school. I guess because I didn't leave my house.
Yeah, no, it was a trip, and then we went to this clip right here is at Web 2 Zone. This is in Manhattan. It's an awesome LAN event, and I think some of the Doctors guys might know this because this was the place they used to play at, and that's kind of where I met them, like Mark and a few others. Andy, I think, was in there as well. We might have been playing against them in this video. Could be wrong, but
I want to say this was post CPL. I don't know if 3D played. Oh, you just gave the stunner to. Is that? Fuck, who is that? I wanted to say Keith, but that's fuck, I forget the name.
That's Ronan.
That's Ronan. Okay.
Wow, I forgot how you did that.
It's funny. I actually remember watching that frag movie, before I even when I was a COD 1 scrub, just trying to get motivated. It's oh, I need to start this from the beginning.
Oh my God, Andy! Did you read the chat?
I saw Andy.
I didn't see him in here. Bernston. Oh my God.
Burston.
I actually remember that.
Wait, who's Burston?
I think they were hosting an event, and I won it. It was like a 1v1. It was real weird. And
1v1 like Wawa or any map?
I don't even think Wawa was out. It might have been
God.
Something weird.
That sounds nasty.
But he was 7 years old.
What? Person was 7 years old?
If I remember right, that was a while ago.
That's ridiculous.
It might have been. I don't know. It could have been Wawa, but oh my god. Yeah, I think that was hosted by 3D, and that was before they were doctors.
Yeah. Didn't Craig Levine like own? Did he own Web to Zone or have a stake in it or something?
Yeah, I think he did, along with there's another gentleman, I forget his name. Joe started with a K, but they both kind of went in on that as a venture.
And look at Craig today. Wait,
what's Craig up to? I haven't kept in mind.
He sold ESCA, and I have no idea what he does now. But he must have got a lot for ESCA. I mean, it was like a few years back, I think, but still. I'm always hoping that he brings 3D back, because they're always like my favorite org. It was the first like pro org I discovered, and like I talked a lot about this. Like 3D was always like the team I idolized, and then like, I mean, we'll talk about it more. I want to go through our COD 4 like history and shit, because like I was talking to Justin about it too. I think my theory is, if I didn't leave Pandemic after COD 2, I don't think either of our teams would be as good as they were. And I don't think we win in summer 08, either of us. What do you think about that?
Man, that's a great point, because I think you're right. I think, and I haven't ever really thought of it like that, because when you left, man, I don't blame you for leaving. We kind of tanked on WSVG a little bit, but
No.
But I think you're right in the sense that the bar has not been set yet. Once the rosters kind of were defined, because then you went to doctors at the time. They were EG. They were EG, right?
No, they were doctors. They hadn't got EG yet.
So they were doctors, and then who did we backfill? Was it Skins?
There was someone else before Skins.
Oh, French Canadian player. It'll come to me.
It wasn't Nicholas? Was it?
Nicholas, it may have been. Mm-hmm.
I don't think
Maybe.
so. I don't think so. I think Nick was after everything. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, maybe you're right. So, but anywho, yeah, I think you're right, because it may have been like two things at play, like bitter about the move, and then not wanting to give up the top spot, because we felt like we had the top spot and that we just didn't want to let it go. But EG, or Doctors at the time, had such a stacked roster that we saw an opportunity to play against some good talent in America, which was not really there before that.
Yeah. Like in COD 2, I'm trying to remember who was our biggest competition in COD 2. I can't even remember. Like in terms of North America.
It was probably 20 ID with like 47 Havocs and Co. Right before WSVG. There was not. I mean, there wasn't like.
There's no like insane team though. Like, and just to let you know, like the leaving thing, because we never talked about it after, and it's been like 15 years, so like who cares now, right? But
well, I kind of get it, because I kind of put you in a role that you really didn't like, and I know that you when you were playing for us on COD 2, COD 2, you were designed to do more than what we needed. So I got it.
Yeah, but like, when I joined you guys, I was desperate. Like, I just wanted to attend WSVG, and I was willing to join any team and do any role that I wanted. So, like, I was happy to shotgun for you guys. It wasn't that, like, it was, like, it all goes back to my early beginnings in COD, when I was playing on a shitty First Freedom Fighters team, and I would get, I would hear whispers of this Team 3D, like, and like I was just such a scrub, so ignorant. I didn't know anything about the scene, but I had always heard about this Team 3D, And like I was a kid, and I would go on their website and I'd idolize these guys. I'd look at all the profiles and I'd be like, oh wow, Wombat's on the Painkiller and the COD page. Like this guy must be the best multi-gamer like ever. And like I played COD after I started playing COD after they quit. And so like they were always like kind of a mythical figure to me. Like they went on to play CS, and they would win like these insane matches. Like they beat Nip in a match and shit, and like they were doing shit in like other games. Like some of them had played CS and won like really old CPLs and shit. I just had like such respect for those guys, and like throughout my whole COD career had looked up to them. So when I had this chance to join them, it was like, imagine getting the chance to play with the Yankees, Joe. I know you're a Yankees fan. It's the same shit. Like I loved our team, man, but like I couldn't say no. Like it was almost as if like my whole COD career had been like building up to this moment where I finally get to play with these guys. And I initially told Wombat no, I wasn't going to join, and then he said we'll just have to beat you in COD 4 then. And then I was like, oh my god, what have I done? I have to join these guys.
I think a lot of the same I mean, they were revered. I remember being at Web2Zone and they were, landing downstairs from us in like this special, I think it's the same event that Andy was talking about. And like, I'm looking at that, I'm like, man, I want to do this. Like, and so yeah, you idolize and you work, and then yeah, I mean, it was definitely, they were definitely like the Dallas Cowboys of their time. Like America, you couldn't not root for them. You know what I mean? In the '90s, like they were the team, they were the org.
Yeah.
And who wouldn't want to join them, right? I mean, I'm sure anybody in your shoes would have.
I mean, but Joe, it won us both. I'm 100% serious. It won us both championships, and I'm so happy the way that it all worked out. That like we both won tournaments that summer, because if we had won a tournament and you guys didn't, I would have felt bad. If you guys won a tournament and we didn't, I would have felt bad. So the way it worked out, I mean, it's all good.
And in reality, we did play each other twice, and we went 1-1.
Did we?
Oh no.
Excuse me?
Yeah, in Tex, right? Because you guys knocked us out.
I don't remember. Did we?
You guys knocked us out on City Streets. Well, the best of 3. You guys knocked us out.
Oh yeah, City Streets. Yeah, I played like ass that match.
And then Crash. So it was kind of perfect. It was a perfect summer because we both won, and we both probably won a similar amount in total.
I think you guys actually won more. I remember you being in like one of our hotels and looking at our check, and I don't know why this is stuck in my brain, but I remember you saying, I think we won more than you guys, in a condescending way. I remember thinking to myself, fuck this guy.
I'm sorry if I did that.
No, it's okay. I'm sorry for leaving the team, man. I feel bad. I also apologize.
So that summer was fun.
Hold on. I got to get this apology out of the way. So I just want to say, for anyone listening who doesn't know, in COD 2, only the shotgunner carried a smoke. It was a great game. And so, like, since you're such a strategic guy, you would always want the smoke placed in, like, a very specific spot. And we had multiple strats, so there were many smokes to find. Do you remember the black brick on Dawnville?
If the sniper wasn't as powerful as it was in that game, that wouldn't be needed. But
I know. But,
man, I mean, you have people that can hit shots like and one-shot you across the map. Yes, I remember
Yes, there was a black brick. You're like,
it's pixel perfect.
We're all watching you,
and the smoke has to puff vertically and not.
Yes, exactly. I tried to explain to people that it had to land a certain way to bloom the right way. And I remember one time I found a smoke in the spot you wanted, and you're like, but it's not blooming the right way. And I kind of flipped out on you because I was an emotional child, and I apologize for that. But man, fucking shotgun, man. We would have won WSVG 100% if it wasn't Matt Matta, man. You ever play that map as a shotgunner, man? It's the worst.
It's grueling. I know.
You lie on the middle.
Imagine.
You lie on the middle roof.
You know, Gimpo used to do it. I don't know how. What he was. I don't know what he did. I don't know if he went mid-roof with it. I don't even remember, but man.
Yeah, mid-roof was
it's a tough
place.
map.
Yeah, 100%. But back to the COD 4 rivalry. Let's get into this. So I leave, and thus begins the rivalry of EG and Pandemic. And initially when I left, the guys I was playing with, they had just got done playing CS, so they were like kind of rusty with the COD. And the first week of scrims, like when I joined them, was pretty rough. Do you remember a guy named Enforcer?
Oh yeah, the
Sinister.
Sinister, yeah. Oh my god, they were the throwaway team we used to call them.
I feel bad saying that, but I mean it's 20 years ago. But we scrimmed those guys like the first day at like first couple days of like the game being released, I guess, and I don't think we won a single round against Enforcer. It was on Crash, I remember.
Oh man.
Yeah, it was rough. Like, and I remember posting the screenshot on the forums of them like 13-0ing us, and I was just like, ugh.
You guys were they were really green at the time, like EG at the time. I mean, you guys were just like installing the game.
Yeah, exactly. But I knew these guys were gamers, so like I wasn't too worried about it, and like it didn't take long for everyone to kind of get used to COD again and start owning. But like us, like EG and you guys, we had so many back and forths, like the mind games between us, I think is the biggest reason why we were able to like think about like the next best team between like it was EG, Pandemic. I can't even think of a team that ever came close to touching either of us aside from Nexus in the beginning of COD 4. Nexus was really good, but like after Nexus like broke up,
there were teams that had a few good runs. I mean, there was that one Exemius team. They were okay. I mean, they weren't like, you know, you wouldn't put them in like the top tier, but they were like, you know, they can give a team a good game. It was like Bond, Soz, and Glad.
Oh yeah, those guys
they were decent.
Yeah.
They were decent. They could shoot.
But those guys were like, there's a certain kind of COD 2 player that I feel like never translated over to COD 4 for some reason. And like every guy that you just named, I feel like are those guys. In COD 2, that Bond guy would just like go off and just, I don't know if COD 2 was just way more random or what, but those guys never had like the same impact as they did in COD 2. At least in my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was fucking scared of playing Soze and Bond and those guys. Like, you never know when you're going to catch that Randy headshot.
So back to the whole rivalry thing.
Yeah.
Because that's a cool topic. I mean, and it was mostly a rivalry built on the best kind of rivalry, which is just try to play your best and it wasn't like shit talking. It wasn't a shit talking rivalry. Like nobody was like actively bashing each other on forums or like, you know, like F this guy. It wasn't anything like that. It was just a straight up competitive rivalry, which is kind of the best. And I've never had that because a lot of my rivalries in the past were built on like, it was like a Nightfall rivalry, I think a lot of people would associate me with, or like some kind of other, you know, nothing along the lines of
rivalry.
Well, back in AOW, it was like this. It was, and it may have been a few other reasons. Like there was this guy Athanasios that, you know, he would verbally, you know.
I remember that name.
Yeah, and there was a rivalry there, and a lot of people associated, like, because me and Nightfall were kind of like vocal leaders at the time. But yeah, the AOW, there was an AOW rivalry, and then I didn't really have a good competitive rivalry throughout. Maybe there was a Shockwave Pandemic rivalry, but aside from that, it was that was mostly COD 2. But yeah, there was nothing as pure as the Doctors EG rivalry, which was just frag. Like, frag or be frag, period.
Yeah. And
no MM1.
Yeah, we were never, like, outright shit-talking each other, aside from, like, the smiley face thing, which I showed on my stream. But it was just, like, every time we scrimmed you guys, it was like, okay, do we show these guys this, or do we hold off? Like, are these guys actually trying? Is this something they're actually gonna do? Like, there was so many, at least in my mind, levels of like, I know Nabore, I know he's not gonna show shit to us in scrims. I know that this round like was a throwaway, like this didn't matter, and but I knew that you guys wanted to beat us because of me leaving, and then there was me just wanting to win whatever, and like I always felt bad. I always knew you guys wanted to destroy us. But the back and forth, like you could tell each team wanted to be so much better than the other, at least in my eyes. And it really showed like every time we played a match or a scrim. But that Keith smiley face, like now that I think about it, that's the only real like malicious I mean, it only got malicious after Ted and Chris started firing back. Do you think the smiley face was BM?
Yeah. I think like I think the timing of it, you know, obviously after you either get a you know, certain set of kills or something, you know, any
it's all the time.
Set of frags after a smiley followed by
yes.
a smiley face is like fuck you.
Yeah,
there's no other language to say.
You're winning 5-0 and you just win like a 1v3 and you hit him with a smiley face. Oh my god. That's why I loved the doctors, man. Like, look at the way that Ted and Chris responded to that. Like, it's like, I showed the video on my stream. It's so fucking funny. Like, I felt bad for Keith after, but I mean, come on, you're gonna smiley face in that situation? What do you expect, you know?
So the team in this set of matches, this clip that you're showing, man, that team was so fun. It was a fun group. We did the whole try hard thing because they kind of like bought into what I was going for. Pinkerton might have been out of the group like the most lax and like, oh, I don't give a shit about what you know, these strats. I'm just gonna run around. But I think like Encore, which was Nate, and then Matt Griefer, which was Paul. They kind of bought into this like weird strat shit, and I think that's the team that I figured out that this kind of stuff works with, so it works in general.
This is one of the early iterations of Shockwave, right? Not the earliest though, I would assume. This was
Encore and Pinkerton. Pinkerton eventually got replaced. Yeah, this is an early edition of Shockwave, one of the first.
And you're playing. You guys must have been invites since you're playing against Pandemic, right?
Yeah, we actually lose this match, I think.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we lose this match. It was a really close game. I think it was like a 13-9 or 11-8 or something, whatever the max rounds was. But man, Newville was such a complex map. I remember that map was just so hard to strat because you have these 3 buildings in the middle, like the one you just saw.
Yeah.
Where they can come from anywhere at any time, and that kind of like threw me off strategically because how do you account for these buildings that are just there?
There's like 8 ways to go. You never see that in like a CS map where there's like 3 ways to go. It's pretty cool. I hated this map because my FPS was always terrible. I never had the best.
Yeah, if you
computer.
look a certain way. Yeah.
I could never do any of the jumps that require like 300 FPS and shit. But still, it's that love of the game, you know?
I remember this map was just super cross heavy. Like people would always expose themselves to a cross, and like if you were good enough, you could actually hit them from going to this building that we're in that Monkey's in right now. Yeah. But
I could never hit it because my frames were so shit. I remember I always tried to pick that cross with a car, but I could never hit it because of my shit frames.
Yeah. So this one, this map was a big favorite though. Like, oh, I love this spot. This was one of my favorite spots. That little rock with the. In all of gaming, that was one of my favorite positions to hold. But man, we digressed. Where were we?
Yeah, we were all over the place, but don't worry about it.
We were in 08.
Oh yeah, 08, COD 4, right. Smiley face. So,
smiley
like,
face.
every tournament was just, I mean, yeah, there were other decent teams, but it would always come down to us. And I think leading up to summer 08, we were the most prepared because we wanted to beat each other so bad. And there must have not been a rivalry like that in Europe because I mean, I wasn't too impressed by what was going on there.
So you're definitely right about when we played against you guys. So we would play other teams and run our full gamut of strats. And when we played against you guys, we would probably throw like maybe 2 or 3 rounds in on like an attack of like a actual strat that we've been practicing the whole time, just to only try it once and like and just to see if it's good versus a top team. But you're right, we would definitely hold back our some of our set plays and stuff like that, and for good reason. I mean, a good team like you guys would see something once, and then it goes into the mind gym, as some of you guys would put it. Yeah. And it's like we knew that, and I predicted this. I think it's on some kind of Jock Itch podcast.
Jock Itch, baby.
I predicted that we would see each other in the finals in Europe.
I think I remember that, actually. Yeah.
And I remember getting called out by some rando that I was out of my fucking mind. And so I knew going in that we may see you, and I didn't want to like fully empty the shelf.
Right.
I mean, I'm sure you guys had similar thoughts. I mean, why show? No reason.
You guys were a scary team. Now, let me explain. Like, your Pandemic was so different than EG was. Like, you are all about the set strats, like mass preparation and shit. Like, you always came ready. Whereas, like, EG, we never had insane strats. We had like different. We had a few different plays that we would go to if shit wasn't working, but generally we'd take the first couple rounds to like see what was going on, and we were completely reactive team. So like we would see what you guys are doing and just react to it. Like, we never came prepared with any insane strats, but like I think that's what our biggest strength was we would just react to whatever you guys were doing and go from there. And so you guys would have to prepare more to throw us off, and then we would just like react to all this shit, and you were all doing all this, like you guys came up with all this crazy different shit for every map, and we would just react, and so we hit a point where we're basically prepared for anything any team's going to do. We're playing against an aggressive team on Crash, well, we know that we should just do this or whatever. Like, we take it round by round. And the other great thing about the Doctors was how like calm they all were. Like, if we're losing, every fucking team I play since the Doctors, everyone's getting emo. Like, you lose a few rounds, like, what the fuck is going on, man? I told you to watch that. What the fuck are you doing? All that shit. That was never a thing on that team. Everyone was calm. It's like, well, okay, like, we're losing 6-0 or whatever, but it's like everyone just chills. Everyone's calm, normal people. And it's like, okay, let's discuss. Let's have a normal, civil discussion about what we need to do here and do it. And again, like, you don't get, that's another factor, like, that you don't get on a lot of teams, is the ability to just calmly discuss and not, like, berate your teammate for missing whatever, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's why I love those guys and miss them. And goddamn, gaming's not the same, Joe.
It's, so for a long time I kind of, and I wouldn't say butted heads, but I kind of had philosophy differences. So Jason used to want to play that style of adapt. He would say adapt, but the adaptive style, like where see what they're doing, react. And for a long, and I always thought like, oh man, Jason would be, he would be so scary if he was on Doctors, because they kind of, I knew that was like the style you guys were doing, and I remember like he would have just, if he would have joined Doctors, it would have been like off the rails, because he was just so good at that as a player. And I noticed he would do it, kind of veer a little bit, but off of what we would do and play his style, and it worked. But man, I was like, if he ever made the move, man, it would have been devastating for us, because
would have been a rip, right?
He's like top 2 in my opinion in knowledge and shooting.
I agree, Jason. I mean, look, I used to watch his COD 1 movies, man. Like, throughout all of COD, he was always like a top dude, just a pure fragger. and great teammate too. Like, and his brother is exactly the same. I know they're twins, but the fact that they're like basically the exact same peoples, I don't know, it's weird. But I miss that kind of player. Like that kind of player isn't around anymore. I don't know how much Overwatch you played, but there's no more. Like,
well, I'm almost grandmaster. Oh, I kind of dipped a little bit, but I was playing for quite a bit. Yeah, I was playing for a bit, but I not recent. But I'm kind of letting the account go. But
shit.
No, I get it. That game is.
do you mute comms when you play? Like, I can't take it.
Yeah, I usually either mute it or I leave the channel usually.
Yeah. That's the easiest way.
Mostly because people are trash talking me because I'll like play Symmetra or something.
Yeah. That's what I hate, man. They'll trash you up before you even play. I pick Soldier. Could you get the fuck off, Soldier? I just mute and I play it, and we won the game. Like, what's going on? What's your problem? Sorry, we're getting really off topic here. Anyway,
so back in 08.
Back in 08. We're back to 08. Curious G did not leave.
Oh yeah, I think he was asked too. I remember at the time.
No.
I think they were...
let me hit you with a deet. Maybe he was, but I don't know if you watched our match at I-33 when we lost to TLR in a 3v1.
Was that before?
That was before
we
summer.
Went out.
Yeah. It was like a one.
All right. Because then 34 was after. Right.
Yeah. So we lost horribly. It was like it's probably the worst loss in gaming I've ever had. And immediately after, I remember I was almost fucking crying. I was so upset with that loss. I was texting Prank, like begging him to join our team. I'm like, please, we can't play with Maven anymore. We need you. Because we needed, like, Maven showed up to that event. Maven's a nice guy, but it wasn't working out. We got all this new Razor gear before I-33, like, within the week, and he showed up to the event using, like, with all of it. He switched all his gear like 2 days before the event, and that was the first.
Wow.
That was the first red flag for me. I'm like, wait,
that's a big deal to change gear because it's like
deal. It's such a huge.
And I remember it was a huge deal for me throughout.
Yeah, that shit. Like, and we weren't required to switch. The team said, like, yeah, you don't have to use this, and it's so close to event. Why would you? But he did, and that was my first red flag. Wasn't working out, and then the 1v3 just pissed me off so much. Yeah, I remember trying to get Prank. I don't remember trying to get Jason, though. I think it might have always been a thing, though, like, Jason, join us, but it just never happened. I don't know. Bernston. What an alias.
So we never played in Antwerp, so we kind of went on separate tracks.
Yeah,
but I remember. So could you tell me what happened in Antwerp? Because I remember our track, but I don't remember exactly how you guys.
I think we lost to Dignitas on City Streets.
What a shitty map.
Yeah, we were awful at it at that point too, and I think we played.
We used to ban that and Crossfire religiously.
I hated Crossfire too. Yeah, we placed fourth and got knocked to them, but for you guys, I don't remember. I just remember standing in the back of the venue watching you guys destroy Coma Crew in the finals. I was like, I just walked to my.
We lost to them on Crossfire.
What? I thought you.
We had to play it, didn't we? Did we? Maybe. I remember it was so. No, I think they beat us because we were coming from the winners bracket.
Oh, so.
And they
made
it a real finals.
So what was the last map?
It was Crash. I mean, we fucking. I don't think we dropped. So we beat them. No, it was supposed to be a close game, but it was really not a close game when you look at it. I mean, the scoreline was close, but it was you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. Because I saw you stomping, I realized you guys are about to win the tournament, the team that I left, and I walked to my hotel room very depressed and put my head in the pillow. But Justin said that it was an easy ride. He said that tournament the whole time was just easy, and you guys were never worried for a second. But
The thing about the upper bracket finals versus Fnatic was we kept losing clutches. We won the game. We won a lot of teams gave up some big clutches, like losing like 1v3s and then like losing 2v4s. That game was a lot closer if you look at it. It's on Quad V. It's backlost we used to call it, and this Zem guy, he was off the rails. I don't know.
Him.
I don't know if you've played against them, but man, he was winning some rounds against us that he should had no business winning, and it got kind of close. But yeah. It would be weird. Like we would lose a close round, like a clutch, and then we would just like 5-0 the next round, like the next 2 rounds. It was like that kind of game.
Mm-hmm. So that was the upper finals, and then you played Coma after that for the Grand?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We played a Coma on Crossfire, lost like I don't know, like 13-8 or something, or 13-9, and then we just trashed them on Crash. Crash, I think, looking back at it, was our best map. I mean, and I think we made a mistake in at the experience not picking Crash versus that team that kept nading everybody.
Lowland Lions.
Fucking Lowland Lions.
God.
Oh my god, what a depressing event.
Yeah. It was so weird. Those guys, I don't know if they were nading before that event. Were they at Antwerp, Lowland Lions? I think they must have been, right?
They got knocked out, yeah. I think Coma Crew beat them or something. Or did you guys beat them? I don't remember.
I don't think we beat them at Antwerp, no.
It was weird because they would lose within their, like... I mean, they 13-3'd us on Strike. I mean, Rob, like, that's...
Lowland Lions did, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's... We don't lose 13-3 to anybody. I mean...
I know. No, there's something weird going on with that team, I think. Like, I thought it back then, and even in hindsight, like, I think it's weird that you didn't really hear about them before the experience. And then suddenly they were in the finals with us, doing all this crazy nade shit. Is the nades shit something they just had in the back of their mind, that they're like, okay, well, we can't win the normal way, let's just pull out these nades and shit. And it became this... Because I remember it happened at I-34, the event after the experience, too. We lost to them. And it was all nades. It was nades everywhere. But I had never heard of that shit before the experience. Like, there's something...
Yeah, and there's, like, a few maps that you can do that on, right? Like, yeah. Streets is probably one of them. And, like, I mean, there's probably a few maps where that strat works. And if they line the map up and the band right, I mean, you get them on a map that they can do it.
Well, it's really smart if you think about it. Like, I actually forgot that you could cook grenades in COD 4. It's so scrubby. But think about it.
Who did it?
If you just played super safe and just, like, got yourself in a position where it's like, oh, okay, I just saw him. He's in this corner, 100%. Let me just cook this guy and free kill. It makes sense, but it's super lame. But I just want to know where they were before that. Like, there's something going on with that team. I don't know. These guys were dicks, too.
I remember in the yeah, I mean, I just remember the event. It was just like a balloon had popped. Like, we kind of just like we were on this high, and then like it never got so low, kind of thing. You know, like 11-3. Oh man, what a depressing turn of events. Because we really wanted to see you guys in the upper bracket finals. That would have been fun. It would have been but I like the way it all turned out. In hindsight, to be honest,
in hindsight, it's great.
It's really cool. I mean, we got to watch you guys beat them, which was like bittersweet kind of thing. It was awesome to watch you beat them.
You're a better man than me, because when I saw you guys beat Coma Crew, I was just depressed. But also, it's like, great for you guys. I love you all.
It was a good summer. That's how I looked at it at the end of the day. I mean, we both had our spot in the sun.
Yeah, and honestly,
none of them did.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like, if you think about it, it was like the last real chance to do that, too, because the game died. I mean, it kind of went on in 2009, but to me, like, after COD 5 came out, it was never the same. Everyone was, like, divided. People wanted to go back to COD 2. Some wanted to go back to COD 1 and stuff. So it was, like, the last real, I don't know, event series where the community was still united and stuff. And we also got to settle our score, right? I mean, we lost to Tech 9 in WSVG. Oh, yes,
we got to yes. And it wasn't a score against Tech 9. It was like, if you bring it back a level, it's America versus Europe. We got to
Yeah.
We got to get the trophy back.
Yeah, exactly. And Doctors in particular had some like insane games against Tech9. Like again, that first event, I-33, we went over. They were beating us like 10-2, I think, something insane like that. And then our second half, we came back and beat them. I don't think we lost a single round second half. And that, I mean, it's Tech9. That felt really good because Davey every year posts the video of them beating us on my Facebook.
Oh man, I still haven't let that down. I mean, I that's to this day, and I think a few of us on the team felt the same way. Like I'm sure Justin does too. That that I can't let that one go. I still don't let that one go.
Yeah,
I mean,
Justin's the same.
That's like one of the worst. I mean, it probably is the worst.
Yeah, but
I felt we were so ready for it, and it was just like,
man, I was in a different mindset though at that time. To be honest with you, I remember asking like the tournament guy before the final started, like, what's the prize for second place? And then he told me, and I'm like, oh, well, that's pretty good. I'm good with that. Like, that's the mindset I was in. I wasn't in that. Maybe I'm the reason why we lost. But it, like, compare that to the COD 4 where it's like, no, must win, must win, must win. Don't settle for second. Yeah, fuck. WSVG. But it was still a really fun event. Probably like one of the tournaments I look back on. I think that was I'll never be in something like that again. I mean, I don't think I will, but we'll see, I guess.
And I don't know if you've caught on, but that guy that was doing the announcing for that, he's on the MLB Network right now doing like baseball.
What?
His name is Greg Amsinger. He's like he was the host. Yeah, the WSVG like microphone host guy.
What?
I didn't know that until recent. I was like, because I was looking at pictures, and because Pandemic WoW were there too, and
what
they were doing their thing. Sorry? Greg Amsinger.
That's crazy.
Yeah, he's like the main news anchor on MLB Network.
Holy shit!
So he started his roots at WSVG announcing.
That's crazy.
Or he was like the guy who, like, when the team won, he interviewed them, kind of thing. It was wild.
Well, there's a lot of people who have risen to big things since esports blew up, which is something I wanted to talk about with you too. How do you feel about esports nowadays? Do you think it's, I mean, obviously it's amazing what it's become, but personally, I'm a little bitter about it all. How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel like there's like you could define it as like a pre and post Twitch kind of era where
that's what I've been saying.
Because it kind of makes esports bigger because it's viewership. So now that there's actual numbers attached to viewership, which is what advertising in general wants to see. Oh, 40,000 people are watching this guy play. Okay, that's all we needed to know to give this game like $1 million or whatever. So. Man, if that stuff was going on back in the day, I think a lot of our wallets would be a little fatter, to say the least.
I know, man. I was telling Justin, like, dude, you would have been the shroud of fucking COD. Like, that guy's no-scopes at the time, no one else was hitting no-scopes like that. Nobody.
Well, nobody was trying it.
Exactly. Like, nobody would even attempt. I was telling him, like, I was going over specific clips with them, saying, in this clip, you flick no-scope a guy, like, 100 feet away. Why wouldn't you just scope in and take the time? He's not even looking. But he would always go for it, and he would hit the insane shot. And he would be a 6-figure guy. A 7-figure, maybe.
Question.
On Twitch.
Without question.
But it's just the way.
In terms of esports, you're like, are you going to like the games that are being played now? Because I think it's just, if we can get into a rant about that, I mean, that would be worth 5 minutes of our time.
Man, this CoDcast the format is very fuzzy. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Let's just talk about whatever. Let's talk about that.
All right, so when we were running around, there was a dueler, there was a team S&D game, and there was a RTS game. I mean, those were at every tournament. It was Warcraft 3, whatever dueling game, whether it be Quake 2, 3, Painkiller, you name it. And then there was like CS and or Call of Duty, mostly CS. Now, there's no dueler.
Mm-hmm.
RTS scene, meh.
StarCraft died, yep.
Meh. you have these Dota games, which the Dota-like games, you can lump Heroes of the Storm, whatever, into that, and League. Those are meh to me. I mean, I'm sure they have people that love them, but they're meh to me.
Yeah, when I took like a 2-year break from gaming, and when I came back, League was the biggest game suddenly, and I couldn't believe it. I was like, this game is the biggest in the world. It's huge, and I was thinking to myself, why? What? I played it. Why the fuck is this the biggest game? What am I missing? Like, what did I miss in 2 years?
It's kind of like going on Twitch and seeing like Minecraft on top. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like Minecraft is like huge on YouTube and shit. I don't fucking get. Am I old? Am I too old? I guess that's it, right? I'm fucking old and I don't get it anymore, or is there more to it?
I think this generation is just ignorant to great games, and really, I mean, they just don't have them.
There's no way that a whole generation is just ignorant to great games. I think it has to do with like the timing they were released. The fact that League is free, I think, is huge.
Well, League, if you really look at it, it was a Dota clone. A Dota 1 clone. The makers of Dota...
Yeah, it's a complete...
Or something.
Yeah.
I mean, the heroes are like... Actually, the first iteration of League was like... You know, you had Priestess of the Moon, and you had like a Priestess of the Moon in League, just named differently. Like, it was just that...
It's like the same ability.
Copycat. It was like Paladin. It would be like if Paladin became like a highly competitive game today.
I think it is.
You'd be like, what the fuck? There's Overwatch. Like...
I think Paladins is competitive, isn't it? Envy just picked up a team. I don't know. But yeah, Paladins blatantly copies Overwatch, right? And
right.
League is the same with Dota, I guess. I don't know. I never look into it because it's fucking League. But something happened at some point, and I don't know what the fuck's happening anymore, and everyone online's an asshole. Which is another thing about today's... Again, I feel like I sound like an old guy, but today's gaming experience, I can't even go on and like pub my favorite game because everyone thinks they're the best. I don't know where the egos come from. Everyone thinks they're the best, and they're all assholes about it. Do you know what I'm talking about, Joe?
Rob, trust me.
I get anxiety fucking playing games with these people.
I mean, the reality is your options are so thin for a good fragging experience, like a legitimately good popular fragging experience. I mean, there's nothing... A lot of these games now, you can't carry. Mm-hmm. Whether you want to think you can, you really can't.
Yep.
Like, you can't carry an Overwatch, no matter what you say.
No.
I mean, that's a 6v6 with ults. Like, there's no carrying involved. I mean, it's a team game. You know, CSGO, how old... I mean, I like CSGO. How old is it? Is it 8 years old?
Not 8. I think, like, 4? 4 or 5 years, maybe? Someone in the chat will maybe confirm.
Let me see. It came out in 2012. So that's 5.
Years, yeah.
I kind of lump CSGO and Source in like the same... I don't know. Like the same game to me, but...
I played that competitively too, and it's... Dude, CS players are like some kind of different animal, man. I could never find a team that wasn't completely fucking dysfunctional. So, like, imagine coming from playing with you in Pandemic and then playing with the doctors and then going to play with these kids who, like, if you lose a round, it's... What the fuck? Like, I had people, like, shouting matches mid-round, you know, during a match. Not even a scrim, during a match. And, like, completely throwing... What is with these people? What have I woken up to? What did I miss?
Well, a friend of mine just pointed out to me, he's like, you know, maybe the matchmaking thing, and it could be, he could make a valid point, like, you're not bound to a set of friends to play with, and, like, you're, with that in mind, your attitude, your demeanor is just like, oh, fuck these guys, like, if this doesn't work out, it's just like, fuck them, like, I don't have to see them again.
That's a great point, yeah, I never thought about
that. And it is a good point, I didn't think about it, I mean, like, the whole idea of playing with strangers all the time if you want to rank up or something, I mean, that's, you know, you have no ties to these people, like, it's a good point, I mean.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely has to be Wow. How did I never think about that?
I didn't think about it either. But back in the day, like we had our own Mumble or TeamSpeak, whatever you want to call, whatever it was back in the day. Some people remember Roger Wilco, but you had your own group, your own, and you really didn't give out the info to people. Like, you kind of kept to yourself, and you played with your friends, and maybe occasionally you would do a pug or whatever, but it really didn't go beyond. You didn't have to join the voice chat to do that.
Yeah.
I mean,
it was much more chill, relaxed.
You had your own server.
Yeah.
What did you guys used to do when you guys didn't have like 5 on? Did you guys, because that's fun. Maybe people would be interested in hearing what some of the stuff we used to do. What did you guys do with Doctors and EG when you didn't have 5 on to play?
Whew. We used to play a lot of like what was that Quake mode where you have all the guns and shit. We played a lot of Quake and we did like CS 10-mans. We would just play other games, and like the Doctors had so many like friends and like friends of friends who were all like there was one 10-man where suddenly I'm playing with Moto on my team. I don't know if you remember Moto from 3D CS.
Yeah, he was the leader, the strike caller of the CS team.
Yeah, they just knew like all those guys, so we would just play with those guys. And to me it was amazing because Moto was like another guy that I looked up to, like, oh my god, the CS god, and I'm playing CS with him? What's going on here? And that's what we would do. We'd just play other games and just chill. And we were all actually friends, and that's what I miss with teams nowadays, is actually being friends with them instead of... Like, on Selfless Overwatch, we didn't even get to pick, like, who we signed. It was management, like, making the decisions for us, which to me is completely backwards. Like, the players should have a say in who we're picking up and stuff. Like, it's another
for sure.
It's another reason why I think
that would be like Chris telling us, "Oh, pick up this player," and then just signing him. I mean,
yeah. Like, it doesn't. About that. I mean, doesn't matter. Like, skill is important. Don't get me wrong, but like I've always thought, gelling with the team and enjoying who you're playing with is highly underrated. And one of the reasons why I think North American CS struggles, because I think they're all about pick up like the guy with the best, the best fragger or whatever, instead of, I'd rather play with someone who's maybe less skilled but gels better with the team, and someone you're going to enjoy playing with, and someone who you trust. If you have a team who trusts each other, you're willing to make more plays. I can't tell you how many times in CS I was afraid to make a certain play because I had players on my team who I knew were gonna yell at me and shit. Like, it's like, ugh, well, I don't want to get in a fucking shouting match with this guy, so let me just not do it. I'll just do the safe play at B this round instead of push up because I think I can get a kill,
Oh yeah, I mean, the chemistry was key. I remember and I'm not sure if it was COD 4 or the end of COD 2, we had it was a very delicate roster. Oh no, it was COD 4. It was a very delicate roster, but we kept struggling with a 5th. It was like, at one time, I think, Lay came on for a bit, but we had like this core, and finding that exact thing we needed, it was hard. It's very difficult. I mean, you may have like some of the best. It sounds so stupid, like when there's a pool of like hundreds of players, and now maybe thousands, but like the idea of some people just not working, even though they're so great. It's crazy to think about.
Mm-hmm. I just want to comment your jumping skills there. I don't know if you're watching the stream still, but
I am. Yeah,
that was insane. I was never able to make that jump, and you just did it mid-round.
We used to do that a lot in this map. This map is super vertical heavy. Like, people would get shot and they don't even know what's happening most of the time.
I know. It's like, where the fuck is this guy?
We lost in overtime. Look at that.
Oh, shit.
The Newville. Never get that map back. This was cool. I think I made this one.
You did. I loved your edits, man.
They were just, I don't know if it was because I rendered in 120 hertz. Some of the quality, when you watch this raw without the YouTubing, it's a little better. People thought for the longest time that I cheated with that smoke shot. It was just a pure guess, for whoever's wondering.
Come on, nabore doesn't cheat. You were a sick bolt. Underrated, I'd say. Were you ever in talks of being the best bolt on the forums? There was 47 and I guess 47.
I don't know. I used weird guns most of the time. I remember using the bar way more than I should have. And
yeah, I know. You always wanted to make the bar work. It's a gimmick. And another thing, Cubed wanted me to bring this up. On Crash, you know the bomb site where you spawn at on defense? Is like a broken down car or something?
Crash defense, the back road?
Yeah. You know that bomb site? You know how you would sit there and watch guys coming down at the alley?
Oh, like
so
when they round the corner, or because there was a tree I used to like hang out at a lot, and then there was a car.
It was the truck like behind the
right near the site or behind it, or yeah. I used to like. I never would aim at a corner. I would always like aim above.
You aimed way above in anticipation of the roadblock jump. I think we must have played COD with each other, COD 4 with each other at some time, because I remember always.
I will say this: enough maniacs would do this stuff for me to like pick up on that pre-aim. But
it never happened. As long as we played together, I never saw it happen, and every time I'd be like, Joe, you gotta move that crosshair down.
I have evidence of success from that. It's in the Antwerp video movie. There's a kill with me doing that.
Really?
On Deny, I think.
What? No.
Yeah.
No, it can't be Antwerp because we didn't play you guys in Antwerp.
Didn't we play in groups on Crash, or was that Tex? It was the Tex. Yeah, it was like whenever we played on Crash, it was in a video somewhere.
Joe, I don't think it happened. I think you need to move that crosshair.
Hold on, let me get you the video, and it worked once. I will say that. The proof is in the video. Hold on.
I've got it up right here. Just hit me with that time. God, this is low quality.
1 second.
Prove me wrong on this, Joe. Prove Cody. Cody's the one that told me to bring it up.
Alright, it's at... Hold on, I think I'm at 6 minutes.
Is yours the one uploaded by Ghost Hacks? Is this the best quality we got?
Okay, no, it was versus Coma Crew. It's at 6:15.
Okay. Queuing it up. Oh, one sec.
Yeah, that guy got quite a number of hits on that video. I don't know who he is. Is that the truck? Yeah, that's the truck.
Let's check it out. Wait. That guy didn't do the jump. Am I crazy? I didn't see him do the jump.
It's the same concept, though. I'm aiming not at the corner.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. That's actually a really weird kill. Now, what the fuck? You like one tap?
Oh, I didn't want to tag. I tagged him in the video, and it doesn't show it in the video. And I expected a desperate move.
Classic. So when you watch a game like Overwatch, have you watched any competitive Overwatch tournaments or anything?
Honestly, I don't really care for it. Like, here's my take on Overwatch, and it kind of takes me back to TF2 when we were running around in TF2 a little bit. I get what the game's doing, but it's not my cup of tea. And I'm just playing it because it's a product of what's out right now, and there's nothing else to play. Mm-hmm. But I'm like very quick to drop that if I can.
I'm exactly the same way. And have you seen what they're doing competitively for that game? Like eSports?
A lot of money's being thrown out at League, shit like that.
All the different cities and shit.
Arenas are being built. Yeah. It's
for a game
it's sick.
I'll be honest, man, I think is not good to watch. It's not. It just is not fun to watch. And I think a lot of people agree. And Ugh. Ooh, the Mike Tyson at the end. Yeah, to me it screams CGS all over again. I don't know about you, but they're putting all this shit into something that people don't even want to watch. Like, it's not. I'm sorry. I gave it another chance the other day. I really tried to watch this Overwatch tournament, and it's like a top-down view, and there's so much shit going on. And I'm not saying, like, there's some fucking really skilled people in that game, but from a spectator standpoint, I do not like watching that game. On paper, I think it's really like a good concept. You're merging FPS with like a MOBA kind of thing, and like there is a high skill to it for sure, but spectator wise it's just not there. And that's not me being bitter or like in denial. This is real shit. Like I got called out on Twitter once being like, well, just because you don't like it doesn't mean that a lot of other people don't. Jeez.
Well, you can tell the casters have a hard time with it, right? Because they're really only looking at kill feeds. I mean, you could tell when a caster is like when Tosspot would cast and he would get emotional about a play that somebody's making. Like, you know, you're watching the play. Like here, they're never on the guy they need to be on while they're casting. They're never capturing the critical moment of a good push and you know, to be fair, there's just too much going on for them too.
Exactly.
So.
Yeah.
And there's a lot going on in Overwatch. I mean, each player's doing like, you know, their own thing most of the time, and
yeah, way too much going on. But again, like honestly, cool concept on paper. When the game came out, I'm like, oh, this could be cool. But I never truly enjoyed it, and definitely don't like watching it. But hey, we'll see what happens. Maybe if they just keep pumping money into it, it'll. I'm really interested in seeing what happens with it, because. Like, I just don't see how it stays, or I don't see how it becomes successful with the viewership not being there. Like, I think Overwatch Contenders League had like 15 to 20K. This is a game that they're trying to do bigger things than what Riot does with League, and the viewership is not even close. I mean, maybe I'm wrong on the numbers, but I don't think I am.
No, I mean, it definitely has a player count. I mean, you look at games like PUBG and you're like, oh my god, how there's this many players playing this game? It's like a shooter like that, you know, would never even break the scene in like a, you know, in a good game environment. You know what I mean? But yeah, I think it's just a product of what's out now. And
yeah, have you seen that Battalion game?
I'm following Battalion. I didn't kickstart it, but I watch every video that comes out. I'm in keen with the forums. I look at it a lot. I actually tried to message the guy Brammer on LinkedIn to ask him for a key, but I don't even think he knew who I was. But
no, he'd give you a key for sure. He'll know who you are. He was a COD guy.
I messaged him on LinkedIn. I didn't get a response.
I'll message him on Twitter for you, because I messaged him and he was like, "Yeah, I'll get you a key for sure." So I'll hook you up. He'll definitely hook you up. I mean, I don't actually know the guy, so maybe not, but I think he would.
I am following that. I actually yesterday just pre-ordered World War II, and I hold me off on this. I know the game's getting a lot of flack. Here's where I stand. I want to frag, bro. There's a ton of games. Yes. there's a ton of games that are, you know, just not that style. And all I look for in a shooter, I look for like three things when I look for a good shooter. I look for the settings for the PC. Can I play on 120 hertz, and can I cap my frames over 120? If those two things work, that gets me in the door. Then
sorry, I want to say, isn't it a sad state that like you're hoping that the game has that in 2017? You're hoping that you can cap or uncap.
It's pathetic,
frames.
Rob.
It's fucking awful.
It's awful.
Sorry, go ahead. I just had to get that in there.
Because almost every port from COD had cap frames at like weird numbers like 90 or something, dumb shit like, and you can, you know, the hertz were 60. It was built, you know, obviously a console port, so it had those two things. So that was hopeful. I started playing it and I realized the maps suck, but it was a big SMG fest. Mm-hmm. But whatever. I mean, like, my days of competing at this stuff are over. I just want to frag. Yeah. So then I'm like, all right, how's the MP44? It's fine. It's actually really cool. And the bummer was that there was no bar. There was a Garand that you could fucking reload.
Mid-clip.
What?
I know. Yeah. What is that? I know. It's disgusting. And the optics on the MP44 and shit too are silly, but
yeah. So I liked the idea of, and I had fun to the extent that of what's fun for me. What's fun for me is just going in a server and dominating it. I mean, that's the gist of my experience now, and what I'm going to get out of anything I play. I'm not going to be traveling to Europe anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a kid on the way. I've got a kid that's 2.
damn.
Takes time. Yeah. It's like things have changed on that level. So I don't have the opportunities that I had back in the day anymore. But I'm just looking to have a good time.
Yeah.
And
I feel the exact same way with the COD. I enjoyed it from a pub perspective, which is something I couldn't say for like, I think Advanced Warfare I played for like a minute and I was like, fuck this shit. But it had the settings like you said, and it still feels like COD. It's still got that COD feel, and you could dominate a server, which is cool, and that's all I want from a COD game now. I've years ago realized that I'm never going to get the COD 1, COD 2 feel from any new COD game. Like, it's never going to be competitive, but at the very least, I want to be able to go into a server and just pub stomp, because that's still fun. So I get it. I get it, yeah.
And even if that game takes me to the mid-gen, whatever they're aiming for with their early access of Battalion, it's got its money's worth for me, because I'm in this period right now where I'm just bored, man. I get on, my kid goes to bed at 7:30. Oh, I can frag for a little bit. What am I playing? I'm playing Heroes of the Storm sometimes. Like, come on.
Yikes.
What is this garbage?
I'm the same way, man. There's just nothing. There's nothing. I don't want to play anything.
PUBG's fun, but it's like, it's got its issues. It's like, I mean, I actually, my favorite gun in that game is the M4 with no optics. I just
what is
I know, I
you?
just rape with that iron sight. I love it.
Damn. You're going for that old school COD feel with that iron.
Yeah, man. Because all the iron sights in that game blow. If they were better, it would be such a better game. You can't use some of the weapons with the stock aiming.
No, like the AK, I hate.
And they're the only game, if you notice, that when you shoot, your crosshair does not return to its original position.
I don't know if I ever noticed that.
You shoot it, stays where it went up to.
You're studying this shit, eh?
Yeah, stuff.
I'd love
There's
to know
bad stuff going on.
I'd love to know your trade secrets for PUBG. It's still a fun game, though. I love PUBG. I mean,
I played a lot. It's fun.
It's pre-release and shit.
But it's cheaters. I was driving a boat, and as soon as the game started, I got on a boat, and I died across the map to a vector one shot. There's a bunch of cheating going on right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was aimbot. Yeah.
That's lame. I've only come across one cheater in my time. But in the World War II beta, the second day I played the first day with Justin for 4 hours, and that was fun. And we only came across one cheater the first night. But the second day, I tried to play World War II. Every single game, I think it was 7 games in a row, there was just a guy aimbotting. Right? I couldn't even...
Yeah, it was horrible.
I hope it doesn't happen in the real game.
They said they didn't have the anti-cheat in the beta.
Oh, there's an anti-cheat? I didn't even think they...
Yeah, the guy came out and said it on some Reddit.
Oh,
he said there was no anti-cheat in the beta, but there will be for the release because they didn't want to give away their secret sauce, I guess. But whatever.
Damn.
I hope it works, because that would suck if there was cheaters. Well, that was fun.
What do you think about... I wasn't paying attention. Look at you with the bar.
That's Steve.
Oh, shit.
Oh, there's me.
He must have picked yours up. Skins. I wonder what Skins is up to nowadays.
This was horrible.
Man, I never liked the Dawnville in COD 2. God, what was that? You got irons that end core. What do you think about PUBG from an eSports standpoint? You think it's a joke or?
Oh my god, that's the biggest joke ever. Did you see the event they had? The guy
I actually didn't.
He got stuck in a mountain and came. All right, so the guy. Well, you know the game. There's a blue circle. The guy got stuck outside of the circle and had enough meds on him. He had 8 meds to survive long enough to gain enough points because he won the first game and it was 3 games that they had to play. Right, he won the first game and then he got stuck in a rock and survived all the way to win the whole tournament. He came 8th or something in the next game and won the whole thing.
Yeah, I don't know why they don't make the blue. The blue needs to punish more. It doesn't do enough damage. I really don't like the sitting in the blue. Like, if you want, like, collecting first aids and just sitting in the blue, you could do it for so long. It's so lame. I just hate that lame shit.
I mean, he gamed that tournament hard. I mean, I remember watching that and I was like...
Is that the same guy that went to the spawn island?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, that guy.
And he was in the blue for like a solid 5 minutes, like, and then boated all the way to like the area and got stuck in that same game.
My God.
But yeah, I think the game's random. It's too random. Not that the gear's random, because you could probably get geared if you know what you're doing. But I think the third person's just god awful. But I think some of the buildings are like, you know, you get lucky where in the end circle you could just get a building like.
Yeah.
That sucks.
I refer to it as the poker of FPS, because, you know, that last circle could just be the difference. When you get the circle spawning on you, and they have to run into you, and it's like kind of an open area, it's just GG every time.
And just the whole I'd like squads more than anything else. I think squads are fun.
Yeah, squad and duo is way better than... I hate solo. I think solo is really
like
good.
I actually, when I play, I just queue solo into squad because it's just so much more fun.
Oh yeah. I do either duos and squads too lately, just to spice things up.
Just because you see somebody, you know he may have like 2 other people and you could plan your attack better.
Yeah, and you could get a sick highlight.
Yeah, man.
Well, I mean, I think we've covered it all. I mean, what... So, I've thought that there's a void. I agree that there's a void in the 1v1 duel esport. Do you think... Have you played the new Quake at all? Do you think there's potential
Champions?
there? Yeah.
I haven't... I've seen it. I haven't played it yet, but it looks interesting. I watched, I think it was Vu or somebody.
Oh, is he still playing?
I think I saw him play it.
Holy shit, that's a classic.
Yeah, he was in some kind of finals, but yeah, the it looks sweet. I mean, the concept's cool, where you have like these champions and.
Yeah, it wasn't as fun though. Like I played, I got pretty bored. Like, I don't know, a few days after playing. But there was a tournament that I watched, and fuck, I forget how it works. I really shouldn't be talking about it. I don't even know how it works. But it wasn't. I think it was a dual mode, but it was like there's 3 rounds and stuff. Justin was explaining it to me, but I think you pick a different character.
They have a different ability or something
like that. I don't know.
Oh, let's go back to Battalion real quick. So Battalion, I heard they're going to do CTF as their main game type because they don't want to compete with CS:GO. Did you hear that?
I didn't, but I like it. And I actually thought that Search and Destroy should not have been the game type for COD 4, and I actually thought CTF should have been the primary game type for COD 2. That's how I felt when the game first came out. I think it makes sense, like, and the CS thing is just a bonus. Like if it's the same kind of shooting and movement as COD 4, I think it caters way more to a type of game where you can respawn. I think, and again, not only that, but CS is established. Like, you know, you want to kind of be different if you want to establish yourself from an esports standpoint. Like, I think it would be cool. I think it's a good idea.
Now, how many people do you think it should be?
Oh, well, I guess it kind of depends on the maps. I'd have to see the maps before. But, I mean, 5 to start?
I always hope that, like, a 4v... I remember that one game, what was it? Fear? I forget the name of it, but,
I never
4v4 format. I always wanted a 4v4. I always felt like it would be so much easier for, like, to find a team of 4, to travel with a team of 4. Like, it If you can bring the numbers down and make the logistics easy, it would just and make a game that catered around 4v4 in some way.
That would be awesome. Yeah,
it'd be just if you can get the numbers down, you get the. I mean, just think of how many teams would have been better that you were a part of if it was just 4.
Right. Yeah. And 5 is such an awkward number to go to LANs with. Like 4, you could get 1 cab and go somewhere with 4 people, but you got that 5th guy. Gotta get that
now you got to get a 3rd hotel room, or somebody's not sleeping on the.
Yeah. No, I agree. As long as the maps are not like super big and there's not. I'm just thinking of that one COD 2 map. It was played early on, and I played a bunch of CTF on it, and there's just a bunch of houses. And it was lame because some guy would just take a flag and hide in a house. Oh, but I guess you'll have an indicator after so much time of showing where he's at or something. I don't know. I'm not a game balance guy, but I like the 4v4 idea. It's pretty cool. Now I'm kind of excited about Battalion. I got to get you that key, man.
So something that we used to do, and I know you spoke about what you guys used to do. So back when we didn't have 5 in the to play or scrim or whatever, we used to do headquarters, 2v2 headquarters a lot.
That shit was so fun.
That was fun. It was like a super competitive. We made, well, I guess we made it competitive, but it was a super, in my opinion, a real high skill.
Yeah.
Game mode, because like you're forcing a fight. You're forcing, if you don't take the headquarters, you're losing points. So like constantly made like a capture zone game mode, and I think it was COD 4 we did it in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
I think we did it in 2 as well.
Yeah, we did.
COD 4 had it.
Yeah, amazing. They need to do something like that too. I'm sure they will.
But we did 2v2 headquarters because if we only had like 4 on or something, or if we only had 3. Sometimes we didn't play Warcraft 3, right? Yeah. Like if it was me and you, or like I know Jason likes StarCraft.
Oh yeah, he did. Yeah.
Jupiter used to go.
Yes, Jupiter. Holy shit. Yes. Yeah, that
we
was
used
fun. HQ. Fuck, I want to.
We used to have a ton of fun.
Yeah, but see how that's what I'm talking about with like the respawn game type, and it's like fast paced and shit.
Yeah, it made for a good.
Just like with how easy it is to kill people in COD 4, I feel like it's got to be something where you respawn. Like have a delay to the respawn for sure, but it is to me COD 4 was just too easy, and I don't know, if you're not watching a sniper montage, like who's gonna watch? Who really enjoys watching like a rifle or SMG montage in COD 4? Or maybe that's just me. I don't know. It's just there's nothing to nothing to the recoil or anything compared to like a COD 1 movie where you watch Jace spray down a bar and get 3 kills on Brecord or something. It's like you can appreciate it because there's like skill involved in maintaining your recoil while you're like spray transferring and shit. I guess like CS too.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So when is Warcraft 3 remastered coming out?
Oh my god, dude. I don't know. Is that even a thing? Dude, how about a Warcraft 4?
It needs to be. Or a Warcraft 4.
Warcraft 4 would be insane. Add a 5th race. Ugh. That'd be so sick.
What would the race be? Murlocs?
With the way Blizzard is going today, probably, yeah. Everything's a joke. You're a Diablo 2 guy, right?
I've played a lot of Diablo 2, way more Diablo 2, and a lot of Diablo 3 in my life too.
I've recently been playing Diablo 3. I'm ashamed to admit it, but there's nothing else to frag. That's what I play now is Diablo 3.
They really amped up that new patch with a bunch of quality of life changes from it, but I didn't try it after they patched it.
It's
with
still
the armory and stuff.
Still essentially the same though. It's hit a point where I'm just looking for. Was Primal gear in the game when you played? It's like that was the same patch where they introduced that special role.
Yeah,
so now I'm just looking for like primal versions of every piece of gear I have.
Which is a perfect role, right? It's supposed to be like a perfect role every time.
Yeah, well, it's like increased stats and everything. It's like 1,000 int instead of like 700 int. It's just like a boss fucking version of.
Right, but there's no like
there's no
if it was like 500 to 750, this is like a flat 1,000, right? It's not like anywhere from 750 to 1,000.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because it's so rare. That rarity within that rarity would have been a nightmare for anybody.
Yeah, I know. It's
be
bad
no
enough
endgame.
with the regular like ancient items. Like God, always trying to find the right ancient item for my build, and it never rolls properly. Ugh. But D3,
Yeah, that's a nightmare.
what was it a letdown for you, D3?
Well, the thing I was bummed about was the initial launch wasn't as anticipated because they didn't have PvP in the. I played Diablo 2 a lot for its PvP, mostly. I did the grind on the the whole Pendle skin meth runs grind with my Sork, but I was mostly in the market for Bloodmore PvPing. So when D3 came out, they advertised, it's going to have a good PvP system.
That was the first thing they showed was like arenas PvP.
I'm like, yeah, this could be sweet, like twos or whatever, like, and then it never was in the release. And then whatever, I'll play the game and I'll made it out. Well, I got hooked on the regular game, but it never. I played hardcore as soon as the game came out. I was like, the only way I'm going to enjoy this is if I play hardcore because I know it's going to give me the rush I want, and it did. And I still have the wizard. I never died on him.
Damn.
But I don't play him, but I never died on him. But he's like, I don't know, he paragoned at like 400 at the time, but then I kind of just dropped it and oh no, I died on a barbarian like early, and then I rolled a wizard and kept him. So it was fun.
It's fun for a bit, but compared to Diablo 2, I'm so disappointed. So I want a Diablo 2 remastered, which apparently I think they might be doing. I think I saw
some guy actually made one already
through StarCraft,
really
right? Mm-hmm. Is it actually?
But it's
good?
not getting it. It's not getting its moment in the sun because it's not a Blizzard product.
Right. Damn. So we've run the gamut. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I don't know how much time you have. I know you're a busy family man.
Speaking of that, I sent you a link. You can. There is my family if you want to put it up. My wife and my kid.
You sent it on Discord or?
Yeah.
Oh, I see it. Look at this.
I got one on the way. My wife's expecting in April. We're not going to find out what it is.
I hope it's a human.
My son, his name's Vinny. Call him Vinny. His name's Vincent. He's going to be 2 in 10 days, 12 days. Yeah. He actually had a gaming accolade at the age of 7 months.
Oh yeah, what's that?
I handed him an SNES controller during a fight with Glass Joe in Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and he randomly hit one button and TKO'd Glass Joe at 42 seconds, which is ridiculous.
I never played the game, but that's good.
It was very random, and it was like hilarious, and I wish I had it on video because nobody's gonna believe me when nobody that knows that game would believe me when I tell them that.
So future fragger.
Oh yeah.
Maybe a future.
My wife thinks otherwise, but it's in his loins.
Oh, of course. Come on, it's the godfather of COD. So so you got the family, one kid, one on the way, and you moved to Colorado, right? You used to live in New York.
Yeah, I've been in Denver. I came out here in 2009, right after, because we were doing that AV8 thing. I was rooming with Pin. I know him by Drew, but his alias is Pin. He played COD, and I knew him from the PA events. He used to travel and do some of those lands. So when I came out to Denver, I knew he lived here, and so I roomed with him for like, I want to say 3 years, from 09 to
shit.
like. Yeah, so we had this like fragging apartment. It was like the living room. It was so pathetic. It was like pizza boxes stacked and like Powerades and these 2 computers in the living room, no couch. Like it was just a pure like we both had an idea. Like we both had the same idea of what we wanted out of this apartment.
Yeah.
So that worked. He's actually on the same track as me. He's wife, kid, as well. And so I keep in touch with him.
Oh, cool. He was on one of my first COD 1 teams on Arcane.
Oh yeah, he said that. and yeah, and '09 I was doing school. I was doing I came out to Denver to do I was doing my MBA over at University of Denver, and then throughout that program I met my about halfway through I met my wife now, and I was trying to game with that, but as I said, you can only do two things at once, so it didn't really work out. I dropped AVA and house, kid.
Wow. You got that.
Well, gaming has been downhill since '08, to say the least.
Yeah, but you got like a real life.
I got a real life. I work for it's a healthcare software company called, well, now it's a consulting company. We got bought. It's called Cognizant.
Okay.
I write code for a living.
You do? I didn't know you did that shit.
Yeah, I write.
Wait, when did you learn to do that?
SQL development code. I self-taught.
Oh shit!
I actually got fired from my first job because I told them I knew how to code and I didn't.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, so then I kind of self-taught myself how to write SQL database code, and now I work. So what I do is when somebody buys the company's software that we sell, they have something else, and I move their their whole database over. All their members, all their claims, like the doctors that are in it, I move that all over to the new system. So it's cool work. I don't mind it. I don't hate it. I don't mind it. It's just pays the bills kind of thing.
That's good.
Kind of like what Justin's doing, similar stuff, but he's doing I think more cooler development than I am. But
yeah, he doesn't like it though.
He doesn't like it.
Yeah, he said he's not a huge fan. But he gets to go home on time. It's good, man. Like being in that middle, like you said, you don't hate it, you don't enjoy it. Enjoy that, man. It's better than hating what you do every day. Trust me. It's not good.
Yeah, you gotta like what you do, or else what are you doing?
Yeah, you're just waiting to die. I think that's what I think. Yeah, I'm kind of I'm trying to get to that. It's been a long road. It's been a long road since '08, my man.
Yeah, it's been hard. I mean, it's just we came from a world. I mean, if Twitch was out, as I said, it would have been a different game. It would have been a different world. We had a lot of fans. I know that, and
yeah,
I'm sure a lot of them still do follow you on this. Like, I'm sure a lot of people in this chat are probably.
Yeah, quite a few people know me from the COD days, like people that I never met, and they're like they've been following me through CS and Overwatch, and there's like a period when oh shit, thanks for the sub, man. Damn.
There's my follow.
Yeah, like they follow me through like whatever I do just because they knew me from COD, and that's like pretty cool. But I mean, it could be worse, Like, I'm thankful that we were able to do, what we did, like, because a lot of people haven't done shit, and they wish they could have. Like, I had no business going to Europe, and we did it, a few times for COD. So that's, I don't know. I'm happy, but yeah, there is the what if. There is the what if, fucking. There's also the what if, what if they made COD 5 good on PC and, every iteration of COD was competitive, How different would our lives be?
The console guys made out good.
Oh, the console guys made out so good. Like, that's another thing. I left for 2 years and come back, and it's like Call of Duty is huge on console, and these guys, FaZe and Optics, everyone worships these guys. I'm watching. They're aiming on controllers, Joe. They're using a controller to aim, Joe. You understand?
It's unreal.
You understand, dude? It's like watching people play football with their arms tied behind their back. Am I right, guys? This is ridiculous.
So do you still keep in touch with anybody from back in the day?
The doctors, some of them. We have like a WhatsApp group. I was actually living with Ted and Adam for a couple years. I don't know if you knew that.
I remember that.
That was fun. But then Adam moved out, and me and Ted got our own places. And yeah, people stop by the stream every once in a while. I have a few people on Steam. There's not many I can think of that I like, kind of like dropped off the face of the internet. I'm trying to think. Jace is currently in a dark period. I haven't seen him in a while. But
I just talked to him like maybe a month ago. He's a family man. I don't know if they're his kids, but he's in a relationship and they have 3 kids. And
what? Jace has 3
I know.
kids?
Well, I mean, I don't know if they're his or not, but I think he's raising them.
Right.
So I spoke to him. He's doing good. He's working, and I spoke to Justin after a while of not speaking to him recently.
Justin's doing well. Have you seen his?
He's doing great.
Have you seen his powerlifting videos?
Oh man, they're so cool, aren't they?
Fucking scary, man. I'm like scared of that.
Miller.
Guy.
I speak to Miller.
He owns a limo place or something, right?
He owns a fleet of cars. Yeah. He's having fun in South Carolina. And then I haven't reconnected with Keith in a while, although I should.
Keezyfy.
He plays CSGO, I see a little bit.
Man, it seems like all these people, including yourself, have moved on and are enjoying fulfilling lives. And here I am, holding on to the frag dream. And it's just not working out for me. It's okay, I'll get my time. Right?
Just frag on, man. That's what I say.
I mean, I'm trying, but dude, I'm running out of games to frag. Like, this is...
Maybe this set of games coming out is exactly what the Dr. Wiz ordered.
What's the set? Battalion?
Maybe you can be the top World War II PC streamer.
Dude, I actually thought about that. Like, listen, if the top streamers of COD are on console, just wait till they get a look at a guy using a keyboard and mouse and how I can turn around in a 180 instantly instead of having that granny console shit. I thought about that, man. I think I might.
I mean, the reputation's there. I mean, you're bringing and the reputation's relevant too. It's not like you're going into PUBG or it's like this is where it was made.
But you know what? Like, way more people know me from CS and have no idea that I was a COD player than like COD players that know me. You know what I mean? Most people think of me as like, oh, rob-wiz, yeah, that was that shitty CS player that lost me all these skins. Not, oh, the COD guy. But I might try it anyway, just because there's nothing else. There's nothing else.
It really is. I mean...
Like I said, I'm playing D3, man. Like, this is dark.
And if these don't pan out, then it's really going to be bad, because I don't think there's anything on the horizon.
Yeah, then what do? I might have to, like, find a new hobby or something. There's nothing worse.
I think Battalion... Did you play Battalion? I haven't even played it.
I didn't even play it, no. Keep talking about it. I haven't played it. But it looks good. I hope it feels... I don't know what engine they're using for it, but I hope it feels... I hope it has
Unreal 4.
Oh, shit. So it's not going to have that Quake feel. Damn.
They say they're trying to emulate it. But
that would be cool if they could. I would love that. But anyway, man, it's been 2 hours. I don't know how much... I don't want to take up your time, man. I told you it would be 2 hours max. So I'll let you go. I know you got a kid. You got a little Vinny the Boss. Is it cool if I call him Vinny the Boss?
Vinny the Boss works.
Okay, good. And one on the way. So hope all goes well with that. And hey, man, thanks so much for taking the time to be on the CoDcast. I'm sorry it was kind of all over their cast, but you know, I'm just trying to figure this out. But I've always wanted to have like pre-Twitch era stars on the cast to just talk about stuff and to tell people, because there's a lot of people on my stream and people who watch the YouTube that, you know, never played back then but are interested in the stories. It all started with one night I was telling my COD story and people were really into it, and they said, yeah, you know, I mentioned, you know, what if I have a guest on and talk with him? And yeah, so that's what I'm doing. And I don't know what this format is. I'm ranting a lot, but I'm just glad I was able to have you on and talk to you for a bit. And God bless you, Joe. It's dark days out there in the eSports world. Well, not for everyone else, but for guys like us, you better believe.
Oh yeah, man. Well, hey, I had a blast on this one. It was good to reconnect with you, and I'll see you on the midnight release party if you get the game.
Midnight release. Oh, absolutely, yes. I think I'll do that. No, I actually
do
will.
it.
There's nothing else to fucking play. I'm going to for sure. Let's hey, maybe we'll stream it together. Maybe I'll get Justin to buy it. And
Get us all three. We'll queue together.
Fuck yes.
There you
Let's
go.
do it, man. Sounds good.
That's gotta be a highly successful stream.
I don't know if Justin will want to buy it, but I'll try.
Alrighty, man. Take it easy.
Cool. Thanks, man. Take care.
All
All
right.
right. Guys, listen. Thus ends another CoDcast. I want to thank my guest, Joe Nabore Amorosa, for coming in once more. God, another great one, you gotta say. Again, all over the place with the cast. I don't know if it's in my head, but I feel like maybe I need to structure it more. Maybe it's a complete overthink on my part. I don't fucking know. I had fun, got to talk to one of the best COD players. Again, if you're a COD player, you know who he was. You know he's one of the best. And if you didn't know who he was, I hope you learned something about my friend Joe Amorosa. God, great guy, great gamer, and great human. There's not enough people like that around anymore. Overwatch is full of twats, no respect assholes. Why can't we have more guys like Joe in gaming? Listen, guys, it was a great one. Thank you so much for watching the stream. Oh, I gotta shout out the subs. Hold on. I gotta shout out the subs and donations. I promised I would. Listen, we got Nabore with the Submarini. What the hell? This guy's coming in with the interview and the Submarini? God damn. What else we got here? Let's see if I could just... Johnny B. Trippin donated... I didn't even notice this. He donated fucking a lot of bits. Is that 10,000? It's $100. I'll tell you that much. Thank you so much, Johnny, for donating $100. That's fucking amazing. I can't believe you've done that. But thanks again, man. Holy shit. Really appreciate that. And Reaver came in with a big host early on in the stream. 173 viewers. Reaver, if you're listening, my man, I sent him a message anyway. Thank you so much for the host. And Jonesy with the 4 months. Thank you so much. Yeah, thanks, guys. I had a blast. The next guest I want to get on is Lex, actually. You guys probably know Lex. I don't think he could do next weekend, though, so I'm gonna get someone else. I don't know who, though, yet. But stay tuned to the Twitter, and I'll let you know. So thank you guys so much for coming by. This is going to be the end of the CoDcast. Have a good night. We'll see you guys next time for another great CoDcast. Peace out, guys.